Hello everybody, Sergeant Solj here and we're back with Hurtworld, and today's video is all about farming. Now, when you think of Hurtworld, you probably don't think of farming right away, but actually, farming is a really important way to maintain your actual level of play for the game. If you're not farming and you're not growing these luscious orongs, or oranges as I like to call them, they're oranges, it's okay. If you're not growing these bad boys, number one, you're not going to have food, and you're going to end up spending more time trying to find animals or other orongs in the wild than actually doing what you want, or you're just going to starve to death and die. At which point the game isn't any fun anymore. So the easiest way to get a nice ample food supply up that is not only renewable but actually usable for other things is to have an orang farm. So this is one of two ways to do it. This is actually in the bottom of the floating totem house that we did. And I fit actually a pretty good amount. Basically all you got to do is just remove the foundations and put them in the ground. Now, the reason though that we have an orang farm in our house is because we don't want other people to steal our orongs. Because they're edible. And they give us these really nice seeds that sometimes go down pretty easily, sometimes they don't. I got lucky there. So one important thing besides for eating the orongs, which are crunchy, you also use them for fuel. Now in this chest here, we have 10 moldy orongs and 10 ash. Basically all you have to do is walk around, and you need to keep an eye on your inventory for this. Now I have the developer backpack, so it's not a big deal for me, but when you have the regular backpack on, when you grab an inventory full of orongs, you'll sometimes get seeds. Yeah, we got 22 seeds here. If your inventory is full, sometimes you don't get the normal amount of seeds that you would otherwise get if you had an empty inventory. So always make sure when you're transporting your orongs from your field to your storage locker that you're doing so with an empty inventory, or you're moving just enough so that you're not wasting seeds, because without seeds you're not able to replant these things. So basically you just go back and you replant them where you had them before. You don't have to make them real neat rows like I had. I like doing it that way because it makes me feel like a real farmer, but basically just throw them down. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our storage locker. You hold shift, and that puts everything, holding shift, from your inventory into the locker. It also works the other way around. You take it out of the locker into your inventory. Also, by holding shift, let me get rid of all these, you'll take things out of your hotbar and put them in your inventory, and then into the storage locker. So it's going to take a while. Oop, get rid of the seeds. It's going to take a while, but eventually these things are going to go bad, and they're going to turn into these moldy orongs. So you take the orongs, and you take it to ash, go to your workbench, put them both in materials, gasoline, and now you're able to make gas. Now you're only able to craft 3 at a time for some reason. I kind of wish you'd be able to make more, but whatever, no big deal. Now what is gas used for? Actually, gas is used for a large number of things. One, you could use gas to cook things because it cooks up to 900 degrees. You could put different ores in your fire pit to cook them that way. Or you could use gas for your car. Car's got to drive with gasoline, right? You could use gas for a blast furnace to smelt the really, really high temperature ores down into their shaped bars. Or you could use the gas for drills or pumps. I call them pumps because they look like pumps. A lot of my friends call them pumps too. And that actually brings us to our second farm. It is a much larger farm. And we're going to go outside for this. This farm actually exists outside of your home. See, there's our little floaty thing. This farm's pretty big. It exists within the zone that we have our totem in. So no one can build around it or anything like that. They can't build through it. But there's an option here for putting your storage area, your lockers, on the outside of your wall. You don't want to do this, because even though there's the totem protection here, someone can still use C4 and break this wall down, and now they have access to all your moldy orongs, and essentially access to your gasoline. You don't want that. You want to keep your stuff safe. So my suggestion, let me get rid of that, is literally just to build them straight in the field. Now we have airlocks here because you need to have airlocks for all your buildings. I literally built everything that you need in the field here. So yeah, I keep mine in all nice straight lines. That's how I like it to look. I also have 4 drills here. The gasoline can be used to move these drills up and down because they're automated, right? And they will continuously pump out ores. I have 4 lockers here because I like to keep them relatively close to the drills because they put out a lot of different resources. But you're going to need this, you're going to need this many lockers because they only hold so many Orongs before they get moldy and turn into moldy Orongs, and then you're able to craft them into your gasoline. I also have one of these puppies here, the fire pits, in case I need to cook something to eat, or let's say, I gathered all these, put them in here, but I have a steak on me that I want to cook. You can cook it in here. If you're in an area where it gets cold at night, but you want to stay in the farm to continue to do Orongs, just put a little bit of charcoal in here, and you're able to keep yourself warm throughout the night. So one last thing about the farm here, I put my drills in the farm, because these things are annoying. It literally sounds like somebody is humping one of these storage cabinets, and the doors are just flapping back and forth. This will get aggravating after a while. I used to play where we would put the drills in the bottom of our house, like the old farm, the smaller farm, and after a while you're just like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So put them in your big farm. Get them away from your base, make them a lot more quiet at the very least, and it'll be a lot better for your sanity during your gameplay. But setting these up, there's a certain way to do it so that you're maximizing your output potential. So we open these up and you see, I have iron ore, I can't pronounce half of these, titanium ore, ultranium ore, and mundanium ore, and stones. This is how you want it to be set up. You don't want it to be anything but this, because the other byproduct of these drills is charcoal, and charcoal is super easy to come by. Either you burn wood, you burn moldy food, or you just happen to get it some other way. It's real easy. So it doesn't make any sense to sacrifice one of these here, unless you have enough stone that you don't need anymore, just to get charcoal. So these actually take a long time to accumulate resources. I set this up and I put 5 of each of every one of these, and we're already up to 20 stone and we're up to 10 iron, but these are still at 5. It takes a long time to get these ores. So basically you want to put a full stack of fuel in these as best you can. If you can't do it, you can't do it, but a full stack of fuel will run these for about 11 hours or so, and you'll come back and you'll have quite a few resources in this thing, especially if you got 4 of them. Currently I have 8 running, I believe, on the Hurtworld server where I play with my friends, and they produce mad amounts of resources. Also, for some reason, they tend to go red, and I don't know why, because they're still burning, and the next resource is still working, it's still on, it's still using the fuel, but it's red. It's not moving up and down. I don't know why that is. It just is. As long as it's using the fuel and it says the next resource is coming, it's working. Don't worry about it. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the farm. It's not a very difficult concept. Basically, you need somewhere to put all your seeds down, right? Not that hard. See, we have a lot of plants here, a lot of Orang plants, and you're also going to need somewhere to put those Orongs. So you have lockers. You need somewhere to put your gems eventually when they end up filling up. You never want to take a full gem out of the drill. You always go into your inventory, hold control, split it, and then put a small amount back in there so that that slot is reserved for that ore. And then you're able to take whatever you loot from these things and put them in the lockers as well, or you can put them straight into your base, however you want to do it. But anyway, that's it for this video on farming in Hurtworld. Sergeant Solj, and we'll see you in the next Hurtworld video. Bye-bye!